Hi, and welcome to Clappia. In this video, we will see how to connect platforms to directly transfer data to Clappia using Zapier. Zapier is an online automation tool for connecting apps together. For example, you can connect Google Sheets with Clappia, and if you wish to maintain data in Google Sheets but utilize Clappia for processing this data with workflows or other processes, then you can make use of Zapier as an intermediary. The opposite is also possible, where you transfer data from Clappia to other platforms. Let's take an example to connect Google Sheets to Clappia. First, I will open a Google Sheet. Here I have a sales tracker maintained in my Google Sheet and would like this data to be transferred as and when I add more leads to it. Once it goes into Clappia, whoever I assign the leads to, I can then use Clappia workflows to trigger further functions, such as sending out an email notification to the sales rep if they have not yet been contacted. Now I would need to create an app in Clappia first for this, having the same fields such as lead name, lead email, and all the relevant headers. So I will log into my Clappia workplace and then click on New App in my dashboard. Here in the Design app, I'll create the app structure. I can give an appropriate name for this app, then click on Add Section, and I will keep adding fields based on the relevant headers from my Google Sheet, starting from lead name till inquiry details. So first I can select the single line text block for capturing the lead name, another single line text for the email, add the phone number block. For the lead type, I can use drop down block and mention the different types of leads one after the other. Next is the sales rep and sales rep's email using the single line text block. The leads inquiry details using the multi-line text. And finally, the last option, whether they have been contacted or not, using the single selector block. This is just a basic example that I am taking, just to show you how to push data from Google Sheets into Clappia. This is useful if you are used to working on Google Sheets and would like to maintain the database in Google Sheets itself. And if you would like further processes to be done based on this data, but would like to keep the data in Google Sheets untouched, then you can use Zapier to push data into Clappia and then use Clappia's features and workflows to automate your process. Now let's see how to connect Google Sheet to Clappia using Zapier. So I'll open a new tab and open Zapier. So this is how the Zapier's website looks like. If you do not have an account, you will have to first sign up for it. Once you sign up, you will be taken to the dashboard of Zapier, and on the left panel, click on Create Zap. Here you can see a trigger and an action, which means you will have to select which platform is the trigger and which is the action. So since I'll be pushing data from Google Sheet into Clappia, the trigger platform will be Google Sheets and the action will be Clappia. So I'll just click over here on trigger. Over here you'll be able to search the platform from which you want to push data from. So here I will select Google Sheets, and now you will have to configure this on the right hand panel. First, it will ask you to sign in to your Google Sheet account. Click on sign in and you will get a prompt to select your account. Once you select your account, you will get another prompt that says Zapier wants to access your Google account. Click on allow. Now over here under event, when you click on this, you will get a list of different types of triggers. So let's say I select new or updated spreadsheet row. So whenever a new entry has been made in the Google Sheet, it will automatically send that data into Clappia. Click on continue. Next, for the trigger, under spreadsheet, click on this and select the Google spreadsheet whose data needs to be sent. So for me, it will be sale leads. Under worksheet, select all the sheets that you need the data to be transferred. Since I have only one sheet, it says sheet 1. Under trigger column, you can select the column whose data needs to be sent. If you leave it as blank, by default it says any column, which means that every column's data will be sent across. Click on continue. To test if the data will be sent to Clappia, click on test trigger. It will then show you the type of record that you can send across as a test. So let's say I want this particular record to be sent across. I'll keep this selected and then click on continue with selected record. Zapier will then prompt you to select the platform in which you want to send the data to, which will be Clappia, and you can see the action field now says Clappia. And again, you will have to configure this on the right hand panel. Under event, you can either create a new submission, edit an existing submission, or change the status. Since I want data to be pushed into Clappia, I will select create submission and then click on continue. Zapier will then ask you to sign in to connect to Clappia. So click on sign in and then you'll get another prompt which says allow Zapier to access your Clappia account. Type in the username and password with which you sign into Clappia and then click on yes, continue to Clappia. Once you've signed in, then click on continue. Now for the app ID, you will have to mention the app ID of the Clappia app that you have just created. For that, go back to your app in Clappia and you will be able to find your app ID in the URL, which will look like this. Copy it and then paste it over here in the app ID field. Under variables, click on the second box over here and select all the columns from the Google Sheet whose data needs to be sent across. You can keep adding more by clicking on the plus symbol. You can also add static text over here. For example, if I have to type in lead and then select phone number, you can do this as well. Now once you have added all the column headers, you will have to add the variables corresponding to each of these headers from your Clappia app. For example, for lead name, over here on the left box, I will need to give the variable name for lead name from the Clappia app. So I'll go back to my app. And in the design app, once I click on lead name, on the right hand panel, you can see the variable name. You can also see the variable names in bracket for each of the fields. So I can just copy the variable name for this and then paste it over here. Similarly, I will do this for the remaining fields. I have added all the variables. Now under workplace ID, you will get this from your workplace in Clappia. You will have to go to workplace details on the left hand side. Once you click on it, on the right hand panel, you will get your workplace ID. Copy it and paste it in the workplace ID field. Next, you will have to give in your email address with which you log in. For the API key in your Clappia workplace, again under workplace details, click on preferences, then select API keys. And on the right hand panel, you will get your API key. If it says you do not have any API key yet for your workplace, then click on generate API key. Copy it and paste it under the API key field. Click on continue and then click on test step to see if the selected data that we had done earlier, whose record you can see over here, will be sent over to Clappia, or you can skip test. Go back to your Clappia app and see if the data has been pushed through. I'll go to app home and then click on submissions. You can see the selected data from the Google Sheet has now been sent to Clappia. As I had mentioned earlier, this is very useful if you want to maintain data in your Google Sheets, and for processing data, you can use Clappia workflows. So let's say the lead has not been contacted and you need an email notification to be sent to the sales rep so that they know that they have a lead to contact. Then you can configure your workflows. So I can go to the design app, go to step 3, which is workflows, and then simply click on add step and select the email node. If I want emails to be sent out automatically without any manual intervention, then in my design app, you can see that I have listed the sales rep email field over here. So I can simply copy this variable name in my workflows. For the email node, under 2 email addresses, I can simply give the variable name. Or you can manually type in the email addresses. But this is useful if there are multiple sales rep and is easier than typing in the email addresses. Then I can configure the email node just like a regular email by giving the subject and the body. Save this. Now I had mentioned that if the lead has not been contacted, only then send out the email. So I can add a condition first by using the if node. So if the lead contacted is no, then send out the email notification. So I'll just change the parent step for the email node to if. Now going back to Zapier, once the test has been completed, you can publish your Zap by clicking on Publish. If you have existing data that you need to transfer to Clappia first, you can click on Transfer Existing Data. It will pull all the data that you have from Google Sheet that you want to be transferred. Since I already sent out this particular data as a test, I will just go ahead and select the other two. Once you have selected all your data, click on Next and then click on Send Data. Go back to your Clappia app, go to the Submissions tab, and you can see the data has now been pushed. You can also see that this particular data, it says lead contacted as no, and as per the workflow, it should have sent me an email notification. So let's check that. As you can see in the inbox, I have received the email notification with the following subject and body that I had given in the workflow. You can also see that it was sent through noreply@clappia.com. If you wish to change this, you can change the SMTP settings in your Clappia workplace. We have another video on that, so do check it out if you wish to change this. Now that I have pushed all the data from my Google Sheet into Clappia, let's see what happens if I add another row. If I do so, Zapier should push that data into Clappia. I have added the fourth row now. Zapier normally takes a couple of minutes to keep refreshing the Google Sheet that is connected and then push it to the Clappia platform. Also, do keep in mind that if Zapier needs to push data into the Clappia platform, the Zap that you have created needs to be turned on. So if you see in your dashboard in Zapier, for the Zap that I just created, it is turned on. If this is off, then your data will not be pushed across to Clappia. But you can always turn it on later and transfer the existing data that was not yet sent. I had not given a name to the Zap yet. You can do so on the top left corner when you first create your Zap. The Zap has now been renamed. Let's go back to the Clappia app to see if the data has been sent across. I will then click on the refresh button to check if the data from the Google Sheet has been sent. And you can see the data has appeared, capturing all the details that was mentioned in the Google Sheet. Now I have mentioned lead contacted as no, which should have triggered the workflow to send out an email notification to my inbox. If I had mentioned this as yes, then as per the workflow, I would not receive any email. So let me check my inbox. You can see I have received the email notification here with the new details I entered in Google Sheet. So this is how you can push data from your Google Sheet or any other platform into Clappia using Zapier. Using Zapier to connect Google Sheets or any platform to Clappia is useful if you maintain your database in your current platform or if you are used to working with it, and then use the push data from Clappia to take advantage of the existing features like maybe say live tracking or GPS location, or if you want to automate your processes using workflows. For example, if you receive emails and would like to push certain information from those emails and create service tickets so that employees can pull up information and work on it. If you have any queries on how to connect Google Sheets or any other platform to Clappia using Zapier, then you can always request support by clicking on the button over here, or you can email us directly to support@clappia.com and we'll be happy to assist you. Thank you.